top 10 catchers of the 2026 season, who are actually going to be the best catchers this upcoming year. We've put together a projection list here. We're going to reveal it to you guys and let us know down in the comments how we did, what catchers we missed out on, who do we overrate, who do we underrate. Let's get this whole thing started. Starting off with the catcher we project will be the 10th best catcher of 2026. It is Hunter Goodman of the Colorado Rockies. He had an incredible breakout season in 2025. He was the number 4 catcher of the year then, and he was the best hitter on the Rockies' entire team, basically. The question is, though, can he repeat it? A lot of the metrics don't really like him. His expected WOBA, his strikeout percentage, his walk percentage, not all that great. His projected WRC plus is also league average. Projected just 2.2 WAR as well. He does hit the ball hard, though. That is his one positive on that end. I don't really care, though, about the metrics entirely. I mean, that's not entirely what I'm using here. If I just went straight off metrics, straight off projections, he would not be a top 10 catcher. But I do need to factor in what he just did in the past season. So I think when you combine those two sides of the projections not being so high, but what we just saw from him last year being so good, he ends up here at the number 10 spot. Now, the number 9 catcher on our projection is Dylan Dingler of the Detroit Tigers. He was a league average hitter last year with elite defense. Positive is the fact that his expected WOBA does indicate he may actually continue to progress offensively and get better. The downside is his framing will probably be a little less valuable with the ABS system. I'm not really sure how to value framing at this point. I still think it's going to be valuable, just not as valuable as it was in the past. But his blocking is still great. He's pretty good at holding runners on the base path. Despite his expected WOBA being good last year, most projections do have him taking a bit of a dip offensively to kind of just being a below average hitter next season. So obviously it could go 3 ways. It could go up, down, or neutral. The way I look at it is for it to go up for him to have a better year in 2026 than what he had in 2025, his expected WOBA would just become what he actually is. He could just move up to that point. But there's also the other projections that say he's going to be a below average hitter. That's the possibility of him moving down and dropping out of the top 10. If he just does what he did last year, where he is a slightly above average hitter, along with his elite defense, then I think he ends up here at the number 9 spot, and that's what I'm going with here. Now, the number 8 catcher for the 2026 season on our list is Will Smith of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He just had the best year of his career offensively. Again, an absolute disaster defensively. He also just hit age 30, and we know how that normally goes for catchers. So for him in 2026, the key to success is obviously number 1, stay healthy and stay on the field. And how much does he do with the bat again? He had a 153 WRC plus last year, but the 2 years prior to that was a 117 and a 109 WRC plus. So where does he fall this year? I think it's fair to expect him not to get all the way back up to the 150, but also not to be all the way down at like the 109 that we saw from him in 2024. I think a 120 WRC plus is kind of a fair expectation. If we kind of just average out what we've seen from him in the past 3 years, it would be really nice if he could repeat what we saw from him in 2025. But I just don't think that's really fair to expect from him. I think something between what we just saw in his career average is much more realistic. Number 7 catcher on our list is Ivan Herrera of the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, he was a DH last year, but now that he's healthy, the Cardinals are looking to move him back to being a catcher again in 2026. His defense isn't great, but also not the worst. Probably just a little bit below league average. But his bat is absolutely incredible. A 137 WRC plus last season. The projections expect him to stay solidly above a 120 WRC plus. His career WRC plus is exactly 1 point higher than what Will Smith's is. And just basically, as long as he's at the plate, he will be the offensive leader for the St. Louis Cardinals. And he just turned 25 years old, so he's very young, still progressing. 92nd percentile in expected WOBA. He hits the ball really hard. He barrels it up. He's an incredibly well-rounded hitter. The key question for him is, will he stay healthy? And how will his defense look moving back to catcher after basically just DHing for the entirety of the 2025 season? Also, when we look at his projected WAR, it's not the highest, but I also think that's kind of off. It's basically just a projected WAR if he were to DH. I think if you look at his expected WOBA and then put that with a league average catcher, that expected WAR, the projections there would be a lot higher. The number 6 catcher of the 2026 season, we expect to be Shea Langoliers of the Athletics. He will actually probably be helped out by the ABS system, as his framing is kind of his weak point. He does have a cannon of an arm, which is really good, but really the thing that carries him here is he is a great hitter. A 132 WRC plus. He put up 3.9 WAR last year. He's in his prime. He's just 28 years old. I think we can expect another great year from him hitting. And he's got a lot of juice. He's a guy who can hit 30 home runs. He's also done a really good job of just staying healthy and being on the field. And that's a big deal. There are a lot of catchers on this list that have really struggled with health. I also like how he's gotten better every year he's been in the league. So now that he's in his prime, even if he doesn't get better like he has the past few seasons where he's just progressed every year, even if he just stalls out and stays the same, does what he did in 2025, or even if his offense drops back just a little bit, he's still a great catcher and he's still a top 10 guy. The number 5 catcher going into the 2026 season is Gabriel Moreno of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Moreno has been an absolutely great catcher when on the field. Very well rounded, good defensively and offensively. Not a lot of power, but makes incredible contact. Thing that held him back and has held him back really to this point in his entire career is just staying on the field, being healthy. On a per game basis, he's outstanding, and he's just 25 years old. He's still getting better. Question mark though is, will he play enough games to stack up the needed value? He's projected to play just 113 games and to get 3.8 WAR in that time, which is absolutely incredible. He put up 2.7 WAR in just half a season in 2025. Now, the number 4 catcher on our list is Adley Rutschman. Now, we may be suckers for not giving up on Adley yet. He's had 2 down years in a row now, but we're doing it. We're projecting the comeback. I personally think he'll have a bounce back year. The metrics think that he'll have a bounce back year. The projections look good, but he just hasn't done it for 2 seasons now, and he's now 27 years old. He's firmly in his prime. He's also had an entire offseason now where he's been healthy. Maybe we could say the injuries held him back last year. And I think kind of as we look at his numbers, that kind of pans out, right? His power was down a lot. He wasn't barreling the ball up as much. Exit velocities were way down. The bat speed was down. But his plate discipline was still good. He was making good swing choices. He wasn't striking out. He had a good eye. He was walking a good bit. I think if he's feeling well and he's healthy, I think those numbers will bounce back offensively. And obviously, he is a good defender as well. And we've seen him be the best catcher in all of baseball already. So we know he has that ceiling, that ability in the tank. We just need to see him get back to it. Now, the number 3 catcher on our list is William Contreras of the Brewers. Now, he is an incredible hitter. He did have a down year offensively, but the thing is, a down year for William Contreras is a 113 WRC+. He also had improved defense in 2025. So, the expectation for him is a little bit of an offensive bounce back, right? He's normally well over a 120 WRC+. So, let's just say he bounces back to that level of offense again and then continues to play the level of defense that we saw from him in 2025. That puts him right back up as being easily one of the top catchers in the entire game. And don't forget, in 2024, he was the best catcher in the entire game. So just 2 years removed from being the number 1 catcher. And that was a year when he actually had pretty poor defense too. Now, the number 2 catcher on our list is Alejandro Kirk of the Toronto Blue Jays. It will be interesting to see how much value he loses with the ABS system as well. He's one of the best defensive catchers in the league. It's basically just him and Patrick Bailey. But along with that defense, he had a 116 WRC plus last year, so he's a well above average hitter. He makes great contact and great swing decisions. The underlying metrics actually expect him to be even better in 2026. His expected WOBA and his hard hit percentage are incredible, and he's just 27 years old, so still very young and in his prime. He's the second best catcher in baseball in 2025, and he has a clear path to improve in certain areas in 2026. The number 1 catcher on our list is Cal Raleigh yet again. I mean, no shocker here. We just saw him put up an MVP level year. No catcher on this list has ever come close to the level of offensive impact that we saw from him in 2025. He's also a great defender. His defense was actually even better in 2024. So while I don't think he's going to repeat an MVP level of play, and the projections also support that and have him dropping off a little bit, but him dropping off is still him being a 6 WAR player. And a 6 WAR player is probably going to be the best catcher in all of baseball. And all he has to do to be a 6 WAR player is like a 130 WRC plus, which is like 30 points lower than it was this year, and just play his normal level of defense. And I think he's very capable of doing that. So while I don't want to sell Cal Raleigh short and say that he's incapable of playing at an MVP level again, just prove that he can play at that MVP level. I would love to see him do it again. But even if he doesn't do it again, he's still very likely going to be the best catcher in 2026.